What is going on, guys? It says back here, bringing you guys a brand new YouTube video. Now today I am going to be talking about something that a lot of people have actually been making videos on, and I just wanted to kind of voice out my opinion about the game. And what it is that as you guys read in the title, it's my personal thoughts on Infinite Warfare as far as the beta goes. Now, one point that I did make in my last LiveCom video is that, you know, I did mention that Birdman made a very good statement, how a lot of people were like, oh, it's just a beta, there's bugs, you gotta fix them. And you know, I understand that to a certain extent it's true. When the game comes out, it's not like they can't do updates to the game or anything and patches and all that stuff, but this is basically the game. This is the game we're going to be getting, because this game releases in less than 2 weeks. So pretty much what you're playing is what you're going to get. You're just going to be able to unlock more stuff. That's basically it. So there is that. Secondly, I have been playing the beta a good amount. You know, I pretty much have the idea on how the game feels, how it's going to be and everything. And I'll go ahead and start off like this. A lot of people are like trying to compare it to the other Call of Duties. They're like, oh, it's like Ghost and Black Ops 3 had a baby, or it's like you put the two worst CODs together and made this. And I'm going to be very honest with you. Since the very beginning, I did say it wasn't going to be that bad, but it actually turned out being better than I expected. I actually have a lot of fun playing this game. Like, it's the smaller things inside this game that actually really do it for me. For example, there is the health bar on top of, you know, your opponents whenever you start shooting at them. Like, to some people that'll be like, okay, this is the health bar, but to me, in the competitive scene, that might end up changing up a little bit, because now whenever you call one shot, you'll know this time if they're one shot or not. So we will definitely be seeing even more gunfights going down, like, you know, people challenging and being crazy and stuff, which will be pretty cool for the most part. Now, I don't know, I just really think it's things like that that make a good difference. One thing that did bother me though is whenever you get a score streak or kill streak, whatever they call it at this point, I think they're still called score streaks, you don't really get notified if you get a kill with them. Like, you'll see in the kill feed, like when you get the Scorchers and you call in some Scorchers and you get a kill with them, it doesn't really notify you with like the XP that pops up in the center of the screen. It just says on the kill feed, hey, you got 2 kills. And it's like, I would really like something that communicates with me better and says like, hey, you actually got these kills, you know, wherever you place these things. And that to me will be really, really awesome. Another thing that I didn't like so much is the selection of perks. Nothing way out of the, like, nothing over dramatic like we're used to seeing. Like, you know, there's not that, like, in a sense, this is a good and a bad thing, because obviously in the competitive scene you want to be as competitive as possible. You want to be able to get those perks that give you that extra edge over everybody else. So for example, in Black Ops 3 would be Afterburner, so you would be able to use your thrusters more often, or Overclock, which I think they have a form of Overclock in this game, you know, so you can get your specials faster, in this case rigs. And you know, they don't have anything that stands out a whole lot, you know, which is a good and bad thing, because everyone's going to be at the same even playing field. But then at the same time, it feels like there's not much you can do. And also, if you want Afterburner, you have to run a certain rig, which I personally don't like the idea of that. I feel like if you want to have the ability to thrust as much as you can, as quick as you can, that should be a perk, in my personal opinion, because I use that all the time. In Black Ops 3, I'm using Afterburner all the time. And now it doesn't feel native to me if I don't have it, and now I have to run this rig if I want to be able to play like that, or I just change up my playstyle. But again, that's just me. Another thing, the maps that they showed us, not too big of a fan on the maps so far. Precinct, if anything, is pretty cool, but the rest of them, like Frost, disgusting map. I'm sorry, I really don't like the map. Another thing is the snipers. I was going to say something negative about them, but they ended up patching them and they made them even stronger, so that's a good thing. I was getting killed by snipers more often after the first day of the beta, which is another thing. A lot of people were having trouble starting up on the beta and everything, which in my personal opinion, I feel like it was expected, but at the same time, they still should have prepped for it. So it's kind of like you can argue the side of either party, you know, from both the consumer and Infinity Ward, but for the most part, it was expected in my personal opinion. But I feel like, you know, 2 to 3 hours waiting for the beta to release, and then you couldn't get into a lobby, then that was pretty messed up. So I'm hoping that, or by the time of making this video, I hope that they would have given us a day extra of the beta just to make up for it. Something that I like also is the weapon balancing. The weapon balancing is actually really, really good in this game. For the most part, the ERAD does feel a tad a bit more powerful. I wouldn't say overpowered because it's not, but it's more powerful than the rest of the guns, so that might be a competitive weapon. I'm not too sure. And of course, I'm trying to look at things from a competitive standpoint because that's where I stand. The rigs that we got to take a look at, they're okay. If they're not from Black Ops 3, you know, they're mediocre in my opinion. You know, like that dog rig thing, I don't even know what you call it. Like, I feel like that's just something they added into the game, like that's whatever. But then you have like the cool, really the two dual machine guns on each hand. I think that's pretty cool. Also the what is it, it's that machine gun, the war something, I forgot, from the first rig, but there's that one also. I think that's pretty cool. I feel like that's just a more inaccurate scythe in my opinion. And of course you have a form of the Annihilator, which we were able to see, and of course we'll be able to see more rigs along from here. The camos, they look very, very bland from what I saw. They look kind of like meh, they're just thrown out there, you know, nothing too special, nothing too crazy. And I know I'm saying a lot of negative about the game right now, but for the most part this game actually feels very, very fun. And I've really been enjoying my time on this game. Yes, I've had to have gotten used to the game a little bit more because, you know, like I said in the live com, I'm not that type of guy that could just hop into the next Call of Duty and be an instant god. I know when Black Ops 3 beta came out, I absolutely blew at the game. I was horrible at it. And then, you know, I ended up playing much better than I expected. And I just feel like this is just the case, you know, Infinite Warfare. But with this one, I'm actually playing really, really well throughout the thing. And like I said before, I really want to try to make this my Call of Duty if I'm going to make something of myself. But that's for another video. But for the most part, the game is really, really fun. I really enjoy it. And I really do think a lot of people got a higher they got a better result than what they expected. And they, you know, a lot of people I think are still hating on the game. Oh, this game is trash, this game this game that. I'm gonna be honest, I really feel like this game is very, very enjoyable. Everyone could have their own opinion, and maybe they do think that the game is bad. But I think a lot of people's heads did get turned when the game released because it is fun, and a lot of pro players actually really, really like the game as well. And you know, it's just gotten a good feedback overall so far, and I really think that this is going to be a really good game. I have not seen anything in terms of competitive support. Like, I've not seen much at all. They haven't talked about Codcaster, they haven't talked about a World League or if MLG is going to have it. Like, they haven't really said anything about the competitive standpoint. The game is only 2 weeks away, so I'm kind of concerned about that because even though I play competitive, I love watching it. So I'm a huge fan of watching COD esports, so I do want to know what's going to be going on with that. I really wish Infinity Ward would make a statement involving that. But that's pretty much my review on the game so far. Well, I shouldn't say my review, I should say my first thoughts on the game because it is a beta, you know. But that's what I think about it so far. I think it is going to change for the better. Just I don't think they can change things aesthetically anymore, so you know, that's the only things I don't like about it. The Gaussian blur, it's pretty much gone for the most part. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say, guys. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. In case you guys did, make sure to leave a like, rate, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll be catching you guys in the next video.